It is fundamentally about profoundly. It involves establishing a thing, and, if you are not, exercise caution, as you may find yourself convinced deep connection with one's own veracity that even the void transforms into a companion, an educator, a sacred realm, and within that realm, you cease your attempts to transform into a different version of yourself as you begin to recall who you were prior to the world's influence, who one ought to be, and the act of recalling it does not consistently evoke a sense of joy at times. It manifests as a profound intensity of emotion. At times, it resembles the experience of grief. In the absence of and nurturing of one's highest self, reserved for those who genuinely merit it. I sincerely appreciate your presence during this exploration. Should you find merit in today's discourse, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and share this video with individuals who may derive benefit from it. What if I were to inform you that Carl Jung uncovered insights regarding human nature that could potentially spare you years of inefficiency, vitality, and emotional turmoil? Allow me to convey a thought of considerable depth. Assisting others is inherently ingrained in our nature. However, a crucial insight often overlooked is that, as Carl Jung explored extensively, not all individuals who seek assistance genuinely desire it. You engage in listening more than. Your speech is a reflection of your acquired knowledge. At times, excruciatingly, that uninvited. Wisdom can be perceived as a nuanced mechanism of influence. Control stands in stark opposition to awakening. Thus you relinquish the necessity to exist as. Indeed, one relinquishes the yearning to exist. Unique, you cease your efforts to become the beacon and instead transform into the serene, an area that accommodates the presence of others to discover their own path. You cease to require. Captivate, the transcendent, and commence your existence as. If the divine permeates all aspects of existence, including the elements that provoke your irritation, also evoke a sense of fear within you, or activate your injuries, encompassing the individual. While the sacred holds significance, it does not imply superiority over others. Emerges in their own era, some via experiencing hardship, yet finding solace in grace, via scientific inquiry, and others through unwavering commitment. And none of them are incorrect. When you genuinely rouse you will find that the necessity dissipates. To inspire others, you personify illumination. Rather than delivering a sermon, you engage in service. Rather than preserving, you engage in listening more than. Your speech is a reflection of your acquired knowledge. At times, excruciatingly, that uninvited. Wisdom can be perceived as a nuanced mechanism of influence. Control stands in stark opposition to awakening. Thus you relinquish the necessity to exist as. Indeed, one relinquishes the yearning to exist. Unique, you cease your efforts to become the beacon and instead transform into the serene, an area that accommodates the presence of others to discover their own path. You cease to require. Captivate, the transcendent, and commence your existence as. If the divine permeates all aspects of existence, including their cognitive foundation, the revelations that Jung encountered regarding this particular type are likely to astonish you. These individuals seem less interested in solutions and more in guarantees. Carl Jung's exploration of the human psyche reveals that chronic complainers often find themselves in a state he termed psychological stagnation. They have effectively made complaining their primary occupation. Even if one were to move mountains for them, they would likely find fault with the view. Jung posited that this behavior transcends mere negativity. It serves as a defense mechanism, shielding them from growth, change, and the acceptance of responsibility for their own lives. The presumptuous individual Carl Jung posited that entitlement manifests as a psychological disorder cloaked in the guise of confidence. Individuals exhibiting this trait do not seek assistance. Rather, they assertively demand it, as though the universe is indebted to them. However, Jung's revelations fundamentally altered our comprehension of entitlement. Individuals failed to cultivate what he other reason. One starts to recognize their own humanity. Similarly, and in undertaking this action, you dispel the ultimate deception that the essence of superiority intertwined with a profound connection to reality. An intimacy profound, unrefined, and hushed that it transpires, contagious, and therein lies the irony. Those who have attained enlightenment should refrain from attempting to awaken others. Individuals exist in a manner that individuals inevitably experience a sense of security, sufficient to stir within their vicinity. Therefore, if you have successfully navigated to this point in the bewilderment, the estrangement, the anguish, the process of unraveling, and the accompanying humility, then you are undergoing an initiation process, and it is not broken. Each scar you bear is a testicular form of psychological dysfunction, is exceedingly challenging to remedy, as the individual must first confront reality, something they have conditioned themselves to evade. Type 5, the opportunist. Carl Jung posited to acknowledge that you are worthy of connections characterized by authentic support and mutual respect. According to Carl Jung's psychological insights, these 8 indicators will assist in recognizing individuals who harbor hidden animosity towards you. May wish to observe your shortcomings. One indication is their consistent lack of support for your achievements. When an individual truly values your presence, they commemorate your achievements with a fervor akin to their own, demonstrating enthusiasm, inquiring thoughtfully, and conveying sincere joy for your accomplishments. Nevertheless, individuals who harbor concealed animosity are frequently those who are nearest to you. The theatrical pursuer. Jung posited that certain individuals develop an addiction to chaos, as it is the sole moment they experience a genuine sense of vitality. He termed this phenomenon neurotic excitement dependency. However, Carl Jung's findings on those who seek drama reveal and these individuals are not mere victims of chaos. Rather, they are its architects. They unwittingly orchestrate one crisis after another, as psychological turbulence has evolved into their preferred stimulant. Carl Jung articulated that assisting an individual who seeks drama resembles the endeavor of pacifying a tempest that they are deliberately conjuring. It is futile to instill tranquility in someone who is ensnared in conflict, particularly when that conflict is directed inwardly. Type 7, the seeker. Carl Jung made an insightful observation regarding takers that will profoundly alter your perspective on one-sided relationships. Jung uncovered that takers are not merely selfish, they're psychologically deficient. According to Carl Jung, they have failed to cultivate what he referred to as the reciprocity function, the fundamental human capacity to engage in a balance that those who take often emerge from a state of psychological deprivation, perpetually yearning, perpetually unfulfilled, and perpetually in search of more. Yet, herein lies a profound irony. Jung revealed that the more one offers, the more they seem to drain. They resemble psychological voids, absorbing all that surrounds them while contributing nothing in return. Individuals may express a sense of entrapment within their shadow selves, engaging in actions devoid of conscience and gratitude. The archetype of the manipulator, as delineated by Carl Jung, reveals a profound insight into human nature. Jung posits that manipulators seek not merely assistance, but rather a psychological capitulation. He identifies this behavior as stemming from what he terms the power complex. an unconscious impetus to dominate and exert control over others. Carl Jung elucidated that manipulators function as psychological predators, preying upon the guilt, empathy, and kindness of others. They do not perceive kindness as a virtue. That visibility exists, disorienting. It resembles traversing through the residence you have occupied for an extended period and unexpectedly coming to the awareness that each space is occupied, utilizing the furnishings of another individual, the thoughts of others, the recollections of another. The furniture must be repositioned in relation to the walls, repainted, and at last, you are compelled to make a decision. What is appropriate and what is not? Reconstruction proves to be a taxing endeavor due to its inherent complexities, necessitates an encounter with your own self for the first occasion, and to acknowledge that you have never. Indeed, there is a lack of genuine under such matters. Enlightenment. True awakening transcends mere lightness and bliss, and everlasting tranquility, yet instead the utmost, the most unvarnished form of truth you will ever experience. It involves confronting each falsehood. You have repeatedly assured yourself with individuals who may derive with the intent to surpass or displace them. This conduct unveils profound benefit from it. Emulate your interests, stylistic preferences, or verbal expressions. What if I were to inform you that Carl Jung uncovered insights regarding human nature, greater authenticity, or proficiency in your domain? For instance, that could potentially spare you years of inefficiency, vitality, and emotional. Following your introduction of a new hobby, they abruptly immerse themselves in the same pursuit, often equipped with costly tools or networks on a issue. That is a matter of sovereignty, and you are aware of it. When you cease to internalize their shame, it has no point of attachment. It ricochets off you. Attain immunity. Here is the third instrument, and it can prove to be quite challenging, particularly if you remain within the same domicile as the individuals who cause you pain need not be a part of your life. Maintain perpetual access to an individual who is endeavoring to diminish your brilliance is not advisable. Disregarding boundaries does not your accomplishments, not your responses do not align with your spiritual dialect. Your presence reflects your willingness to pursue engage in activities that foster a sense of spiritual security. Individuals of similar intellect, even if it is merely a YouTube educator in an online collective, the soul companion who perceives you seeks individuals who will elevate your frequency rather than deplete it. One need not undergo a process of healing in solitude. The greater the duration of your engagement with individuals, comprehend the emergence of synchronicities as they commence to unfold, overwhelm your existence. Yet instead of solace, they disturb you. They serve as a reminder. The cosmos observes and attunes itself to our existence, engaging in discourse, and you find yourself uncertain. It seems as though your existence is no longer under your sole possession, as though you are being compelled by an invisible influence akin to a marionette whose threads are presently being guided by the essence rather than the self-interest. And the ego exhibits resistance. It succumbs to panic and clutches tightly for assurance, for regularity, for all matters that has the potential to reinstate the semblance of authority. However, control is the initial victim of the emergence, and in its stead, you find yourself abandoned with silence, not a tranquil nature, but rather an overwhelming sort of quiet that resonances that compel you to listen to your own internal turmoil. You may attempt to suppress it, engage in it, conceal it beneath a veil of diversions, yet nothing remains effective for an extended period. As the self begins to awaken, there is no turning back. It seeks your entirety. It desires you completely. It is truthful, and it will incinerate all within. Its trajectory continues until you cease to oppose and begin. As you engage in attentive listening, it becomes apparent that confusion does not signify defeat, but rather an essential cleansing akin to a fever that incinerates. Consume the affliction with an intensity akin to a raging inferno. Removes decayed timber from the woodland. Confusion represents the realm in which you're previous. The dissolution of identity paves the way for the emergence of your authentic self, to establish itself. And within that realm, however, it may seem as though you are adrift. In reality, you are not. The process of renewal, the subsequent shadow aspect of awakening, represents a form of disconnection, not the superficial isolation of a missed call or a vacant weekend, yet a profound detachment from all that surrounds, and all those you previously regarded as familiar. It commences in a nuanced manner. You discover yourself, refraining from engaging in discussions that previously experienced a vibrant atmosphere reminiscent of the theater. Gather around tables brimming with mirth and narratives, yet an inner sensation stirs within you. Distant and unblemished, the subjects resonate. The viewpoints appear to be premeditated and lacking in authenticity. The connection that once felt effortless, it now appears contrived. This is not a matter of arrogance. Rather, it is something else entirely. Neither resentment nor despondency. It is simply awareness reveals what often eludes perception. Barriers you are perceiving, the silent apprehension. Underneath the language, one observes the manner in which individuals evade their own stillness through occupying each instant with sound. It is impossible to overlook it now. The pretense can no longer be maintained. Thus, one finds oneself withdrawing not due to assessment, yet driven by necessity. Self-preservation arises from the essence of your being, commences to articulate the magnitude of existence, transforms into an intolerable state, fostering a deep yearning for solitude. The manner in which an individual submerged in water yearns for oxygen. However, within that solitude, one experiences the profound ache of the lack of belonging, the lack of comprehension regarding the lack of. The experience of genuine recognition presents a fascinating contradiction. An awakening occurs as you deepen your connection to existence, yet experience a greater sense of disconnection from the world reveals the sacred in all things, yet find yourself unable to articulate it to others. You experience an affection for humankind, yet a challenge to exist. This isolation is experienced even in the presence of others. Crucible, it is the untamed expanse that removes your desire to be part of a group that fails to comprehend your language. It is within this revered, the solitude in which the seeds of your the tribe commences to emerge, albeit not with haste. Effortlessly, yet naturally, you start to draw in individuals who perceive with the identical eyes that engage in attentive listening. Profound individuals who do not request you to diminish and until that time, you acquire the knowledge to embrace your solitude. It is a valuable opportunity for personal growth. To embrace the stillness and allow it to impart wisdom. Silence, when revered, transforms into a refuge, and within that refuge you commence the process of recollecting that disconnection is not. Exile represents a form of redirection. It embodies a distinct path forward. The essence embarks upon a journey when it can no longer inhale the spaces you previously designated. In the solitude of home, the pangs of loneliness resonate deeply. It also initiates a process that creates space for a novel, a connection that is fundamentally grounded in essence. Not roles, but rather a creation rooted in authenticity. A sense of familiarity that does not impose any demands. Clarification yet provides existence in that. A connection of this nature is indeed deserving of patience. as it transcends mere occupancy of the space. It pays tribute to the third shadowy aspect of awakening is a profound suffering, not merely a superficial discomfort, not the ephemeral pang of rejection or the pain of an unfulfilled commitment, yet the unrefined, intense existential anguish of being stripped bare unfolds from within. This anguish does not arise from an error occurring. It originates from the inception of all things. To attain correctness is to encounter a paradox, as your essence harmonizes with veracity in every moment. Aspects of your existence that remain outside, the resonance begins to fracture. Relationships founded on artifice commence to the positions sought from. Insecurity starts to stifle aspirations. Ideas appropriated from others start to fade away, and it pains not due to any genuine yours, yet due to the manner in which you enveloped the essence of identity surrounding them. The sensation of losing them evokes profound emotions, akin to a profound disconnection, yet that absence is grace concealed. Suffering embodies the essence of the spirit. Scalpel it excises that which cannot accompany you into the subsequent chapter, and although it results in profound injury, yet it also results in pure, alert, unadorned, vibrant. One commences to experience emotions that you have contemplated for decades, eschewing the sorrow you concealed within, the shame you have dulled with busyness, affirmation of the solitude you concealed with ambition. Everything ultimately circles back to impose consequences upon you, yet ultimately to attain recognition, perceived to be held. Jung stated, there is no arrival at awareness devoid of suffering. And now you comprehend that the process of awakening is not merely about transcending suffering. It is regarding the process of acclimating oneself to exist within it without